there's so much to talk about here. We are so excited to have you on because, like, of course, you always find really interesting subjects, but this, I was sitting there thinking, where in the world did they find this? So I kind of know how you came up on this place because this the you've had some fascinating things, but this one kind of takes the cake, I think.
Hmm.
Well, films come from all kinds of places. Eavesdropping, sometimes, reading something in the paper, just hearing a comment. In this case, it was a podcast that led me to read a book. In the book about the dog slitter, she mentions that she went to a folk high school when she was 17. What's that? And then you go down the rabbit hole and you realize that it's a tradition in Scandinavia. It's a gap year. It's an extra year of high school to bake and to try something new, to learn to be a better person and to build character. Things that, are obviously top of mind right now for everyone is sort of the future of teenagers and what's out there for them. So it just sort of, it like sparked something. And then we started researching them. We landed in the north of Norway looking at schools, and we found Pasvik and a dog yard full of huskies that'll help a human being become a better human. Like, who doesn't want to look more into that? We just was irresistible. And for us, it's all these universal themes wrapped in a very unusual, arctic, maybe strange package that's also hyper cinematic. So it was worthy of cameras. It was as of being looked at through a cinematic eye. So really, it had all the things that we thought would make for a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of felt left out. Did you? Or you got? I thought this would have been fantastic for me. I think it probably would have been better for my development had I had something like this.
For everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. And
Mhm.
for me too.
Yeah, and also I got to know. It seemed like, of course, you can't get around the filming conditions. You probably had to go in a little bit of survival mode yourself too. This is a little fish out of water for both of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we started, I honestly, I was terrified of being cold and not being able to do my job. And I had a lot of fear about it. So I learned a lot, I learned from the kids. I first of all, I would wear whatever they wore or whatever the teachers told us to wear. But also it was something that we realized quickly. It's just like anything else you're scared of. You figure out the right way to do it, and then it's not so scary. And then you move on to something else to be scared of. So there was the weather was one of the things that I was super nervous about in the beginning. And then you realize that's not the right thing to be nervous about. There's other things to be nervous about that you didn't think of, which happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, and people look up to what both of you do and do so well, and I know they will even more here. What advice would each of you give to some filmmakers that want to tell great stories in the way that you do?
I mean, I think that the key is to be very, very curious about what you're about to do. Don't fake it. Don't do it because it's trending, because it might be cool, because I think there might be a big audience for this. That is not going to work because it takes so long. It takes so much devotion, and so much of your bandwidth and your brain power to make a film, any film, short or long. So you better be wildly fascinated and interested in what you're about to do, because otherwise it's just too hard. So I think that for me is the number one, because you can never predict what's going to be a hit, what's going to be sold, what's going to get into Sundance. Stop trying to predict it, and you got to trust your gut. I think that is the number one thing. We've done it since the beginning of our career with the Boys of Baraka. That was a gut. Also a school in Africa. It was like very unusual. Trust your gut, make the film, and hopefully you'll find an audience.
Yeah, well said. Would you say the same thing, Rachel?
Well, I would say that you should be somewhat obsessed with with the topic, with the subject, and be interested in many things about it, because there has to be like a lot of points of entry. You're living with it for a long time, so you know it should be interesting to you in many ways. Um, and then as you're doing it, hopefully you were wrong about all of them, and you learn something new about everything, because then that will translate into an adventure for your audience as it was an adventure for you. So, as Heidi said, 100% go with your gut, but like it should be pretty juicy for you. Even if it's not action things, it's things that you want to learn about yourself, how to feel a certain way, what makes people tick. Uh, Nature, nurture, that's a huge one. Why would someone choose this, do this, say that, act that way? And trying to get to the bottom of it is always a wonderful avenue to get a good story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys. He caught the Hail Mary on the Hall of Fame, and we always talk about those Hail Mary moments. This was kind of a Hail Mary moment, right? To get to go out and do something like this, like you don't really know if how well it's going to work until you're in it, right?
There's a million ways you could fail. And we kept failing on all the technical things. We call it trial and failure, photographing dog sledding and -30, bad, everything breaking. Like there was a lot of points where you were blocked, And so I think it was definitely not for the faint of heart. It was definitely not for newbies. And yeah, it could have turned out, we could have gotten, I mean, the thing is, you're so worried about the technical things that you're not getting the emotional material. So we made sure not to overthink that, because what an audience really cares about is, do they connect or do they not connect with the people you're telling the story about? So you can like overcome all the technical challenges and shoot in a blizzard and still not get a satisfying movie. It's like, so that was really what always dogged me. It's like, are we actually getting the emotional beats through the storms and through the darkness and all of that? And I feel that we did arrive there. It took 17 trips to the Arctic, an entire year of shooting, but people do grow and change, and we were there for enough of those moments that I feel that it's a satisfying experience. It's also, I hope people find, hyper cinematic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, part of that is that mindset that you have to have, almost like a success mindset to just to get through the whole process, beginning to end, because it's a long time. So, what do you keep in mind that kind of keeps you on that right path and keeps you focused?
You got to, I mean, for this one, to be
Hmm.
honest, it was day by day.
Yeah.
It was just getting through the production and then getting through the edit. They were equally hard in a way because we were working in a language that we didn't understand. And it's observational. It wasn't just interviews, so it's observational. You have to get everything translated. Then you have to look for the moments and the nuance and the we just had to use different parts of our brain, and a lot of the things that come easy to us as filmmakers, meaning, you understand what someone's saying, so you under subtext or just getting just clues to what's happening. You didn't have that. That was off the table. You had to do it a different way. So yeah, it was the whole thing from start to finish was like, I felt like it was advanced, meaning if we had done this 20 years ago, I don't know what we would have done. We would have been in a state of panic probably the entire time. But this one was really about surrendering to the process. And I think that is something that we've learned over the, you know, our career as we've learned and, you know, we've had scary things happen along the way many times. Just at this one, it was all at once and it kept happening, but you kept having to just swallow it, keep going. It resolved itself. So it was, for a, I thought it was an advanced film adventure.
Yeah, oh, I love that. Well, last thing, there's so much going on here and so much to get out of it. And I think people will get something different out of it, possibly if they're a student or if they're a teacher, if they've been through these things or if they're in that part of the world. So what is it that each of you are hoping that people will take away or talk about after this? Because you can't not talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those films that I think sneaks up on you. We're told it sneaks up on people, and people, everyone identifies with a different character. But I have to say that I feel that a lot of the answers are in nature, and it's not something original I'm saying, but the power of nature to calm your mind and to realize how small you are but not insignificant you are. I think that these are lessons that we need to learn over and over again. We live in a highly technological age. All we do is talk about AI. All we do is talk about robots taking over for us. How unimportant we are. How we're not going to have any jobs, and how we're meaningless as human beings. I feel like this turns all of that upside down, and it's about the elemental nature of man, of mammals, of dogs and humans, of our relationship, that we have significant bonds with one another and with animals, and that's extremely significant, and it's something that an AI or a robot is not going to achieve. So I just feel like it makes us feel like we can breathe again, that we have a place on this earth. And I know that's a big ask, but it's some version of that I would love for someone to take away from this film.
Would you say
I
the
mean,
same thing?
there's a lot of things that there's a lot. There's not just one.
Mm.
But something that I keep coming back to is something that one of the teachers said one of the first times we met him before we were filming. And when we knew, wow, we need to spend time with these teachers who have this beautiful calling to help the next generation of people discover how to be good members of society. He said, not everyone fits in, but everyone is needed.
Mhm.
And I thought that was such a amazing sentiment to try and get a human to believe that it might not look like you're supposed to be here, but you're more than most supposed to be here. You were born to be here. And I think that is something that I tell myself all the time now, that it was a good reminder.
Ah, that's beautiful. Well, thank you both so much for making such a fantastic film and for the really incredible answers. I look forward to talking to both of you again soon and can't wait to see what you do next.
All right, spread the word. Spread the
everyone-
word.
Yes,
Tales in theaters.
Bye.
absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.